Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game today. The fans are out to get a ticket or two. From Walla Walla, Washington to Kalamazoo. It's a beautiful day for a home run, but even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today.
Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Monday, December 8th, and I thought we'd cut to the chase and I'd start showing you some cards because, as I mentioned in my last video, one of the reasons that I'm here, and hopefully the reason you're here, is because we're here to look at baseball cards. And we're here to look at baseball cards from my collection. So today I wanted to show you something a little different, as it's a modern set. I know I tend to collect vintage cards, but this is the 2022 Topps Heritage set. And I'll go into the reasons why I selected this set to build later, or a little later, but wanted to give you some basics of this set before I get into the why I did this and those type of things, just because, like I say, I always tend to buy vintage. But here was a case of where I wanted some modern cards with the modern players with the old vintage design. And 2022 has the 1973 Topps set design, which was the very first set of cards that I ever built. Has a lot of meaning for me to this day. And even looking at these 2022 Topps Heritage cards makes me fall in love with 1973 all over again. Now, the very first card is a tribute to what was card number 1 in 1973, had Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays, the three all-time home run leaders at that point. At this point, we're talking active MLB home run leaders. Mind you, we're talking 2022, so here's Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, and Nelson Cruz, all retired by this point. I believe. I don't think Nelson Cruz is still playing. I know that Miggy and Pujols are gone. But this is just a really good looking set. Like I said, modern players, vintage design, Mike Yastrzemski, Buster Posey, good looking photos. One of the things that I like about these heritage sets compared to, let's say, the Topps modern sets are Topps tends to put action shots, literally 100% action shots now on the modern sets. When it comes to Topps Heritage, we have the old pose shots. Look at Lars Nootbaar. Look at Dustin May or Rafael Devers. Yeah, you still got your action, your horizontal cards, which are amazing. Brent Phillips, Ramil Tapia, and Tyler Gilbert. But you get these wonderful old poses, Adam Wainwright. Then you get your action shots. And it's just a good blend of modern and vintage. Here's a tribute. I didn't know this card was in here when I went through the set. When I started building this, I was like, oh, wait a minute, somebody sent me a Roberto Clemente card. And I realized it was a Topps Heritage card. That would have been Clemente's last Topps card as an active player. And it's included here as a tribute to him, card number 50, just like it was in 1973. Now this set, I'll give you some random facts as we go through the league leaders cards. That's Zach Wheeler and Robbie Ray. I totally forgot Robbie Ray even pitched for the Blue Jays. Corbin Burns on Milwaukee, wasn't aware of that. So you get to see the great players of today. And that's still something nice to look at. I will be honest, for me, as we get to the rookie outfielders, I don't get as much excitement looking at modern cards in a modern design. But I do like looking at modern players in a vintage design. I still like that look. There's Dalton Varsho. Now the Blue Jays. Back then he was on Arizona. Alex Verdugo on the Red Sox. Let's see, who else? Fernando Tatis Jr. You guys, that's my very first Fernando Tatis Jr. card that I have in my collection. Same with Jose Abreu. So that's another reason to collect these is I'm getting some cards for the very first time in my collection, or guys that I rarely have, like Manny Machado, or even someone like Mookie Betts or Justin Verlander right there. Charlie Morton. There's Mike Trout. Card number 100 is Mike Trout. And this set is broken out into a few series. Very different from 1973 when we had 6 different sets. This set, Series 1, is card numbers 1 through 500, with card numbers 401 to 500 being single print cards. A little bit harder to find, a little bit pricier when you do find them. And we'll go over costs in a bit here. There's Walker Buehler. That was taken to Candlestick Park. That's taken whatever they call San Francisco now. I'll call it Pac Bell Park. I don't know if it's all called Oracle Park. They seem to change the name every year or two. That's funny that I said Candlestick. Like this Willy Adames card right there. That's a good looking card. So as I mentioned, that Series 1 is 500 cards. Shohei Ohtani on the Angels. Now, Series 2 is, which are called high numbers. Their card numbers 501 to 725, with 701 to 725 being single prints. Juan Soto on Washington. I think that might be my first and only Juan Soto card. Garrett Cole on the Yankees. But yeah, so we have 725 cards in the set. The last 25 are single prints. Now, when you say single prints, are they super rare? No, but in some cases, you know, you can when I get to certain cards, I think the most I spent on any card, honestly, I think was like $4. Most cards cost me 20 cents that I did have to buy. I bought card numbers 1 through 400 altogether, and then 25 of the cards from 401 to 500 were included. And then 700 through 725, I also bought from another seller, Trent Grisham on the Padres, Austin Riley, Francisco Lindor. I think that's my second Francisco Lindor card. And then, so I had about 75 single prints I had to find, and most of those I bought on Sport Lots, and those ranged anywhere from $2 to $4. Not difficult to complete, actually. It took me less than a month. Ryan Zimmerman, Will Smith. Then we have the postseason cards here. Kike Hernandez on the Red Sox. Cody Bellinger had a big home run against Atlanta that year. I won't forget that. Unfortunately, Atlanta went on to go to the World Series. And then you got your World Series cards. And here's Freddie Freeman finally winning it for the Braves. And he went on to win 2 more World Series after that. And let's see here. What else do we got? Ronald Acuna Jr., Giancarlo Stanton, Michael Conforto on the Mets. I hear a lot about him with his 1 year with the Dodgers. Paul Goldschmidt on the Cardinals. Jose Ramirez, quietest man to ever go into the Hall of Fame someday. If you were on the Dodgers or the Yankees, that man would be a superstar. Bryce Harper, Jacob deGrom, the best of today's players. And my collection is a representation of the history of baseball, and that has to include the modern player. So I do want representation from today's ball players. There's a lot of great ball players. This is my very first Vladimir Guerrero Jr. card. My very first Bo Bichette card. Which might not be a big deal to you, but I like having all the players in my collection. So, Marcus Semien, he just got traded to the Mets. Josh Bell. As we go through these, this would be, the next 2023 Topps Heritage is the last year that we have horizontal cards. These horizontal cards are the best, and I'm going to preview something that I'm working on after I get through these 725 cards. Nico Hoerner, Nathan Eovaldi, Tyler Glasnow, back then on Tampa, now on the Dodgers. This also, the reason I decided to build this set was I have a set from every decade dating back to the 40s. And this is my set from the 2020 decade. Rhys Hoskins. Plus, these cards just look great. Boyhood Photos of the Stars. They only did one. That was from Mike Trout. I wish they had done like 6 or 7 like 1973 did. You don't find the quirkiness of the 1973 photos. 1973 is famous for having some really funky photos. But I have to admit, some of these action shots, Teoscar Hernandez on the Blue Jays, some of these action shots are very good, but some of them are far away, and I go, I think they did this on purpose. It's like they used a wide-angle lens. But it does remind me kind of the set, of looking at old 1973 cards. That card right there, and it's just a coincidence that I'm popping up, that reminds me of the old George Scott card. I think Campy Campaneris is going back to first base and George Scott's trying to tag him out. That card reminds me of that. That was a pure coincidence that I ran into that. Because you don't see, you just see the typical poses. I mean, I don't think I have a card here that looks like the Vita Blue card from 1973. Definitely not like I think his name's Luis Alvarado, where you see cars parked in the background. But you still get some really great shots. This one, card number 418, that was the last card I was able to get. That was a little bit only it cost me $2, but it was still harder to find. Now we're in the single prints, cards number 400 through 500. These are the single prints. And all the teams are represented. Matt Harvey on the Orioles. I think we're approaching near the end of Series 1. Not quite yet. I forgot Johnny Cueto was on the Giants. Let's see. Then we have our all-time leaders. When I was a kid, this for me was a big deal. I had a Babe Ruth card. I had 2 Babe Ruth cards, a Lou Gehrig card, a Ty Cobb card, Walter Johnson. And I thought they were valuable. I was all of 8 years old. So we've updated it this time. All-time batting leader is still Ty Cobb. His batting average has gone down to 366. All-time victory, still Cy Young at 511. We have a new strikeout leader, Nolan Ryan, replacing Walter Johnson. This was a new one, all-time saves, Mariano Rivera. I like this one the most, the all-time total base leader, Hank Aaron, because it looks like it's the same photo shoot that they did the card originally in 1973. This one they didn't have last time. All-time doubles, Tris Speaker. All-time shutouts, Walter Johnson. And the last one, this was Lou Gehrig last time. All-time grand slams was Alex Rodriguez. And I didn't realize it. I honestly thought Robin Ventura had passed Lou Gehrig. I was wrong there. But we go through these great cards, and just for me, it brings back memories of 73, being 8 years old, Cody Bellinger, buying my first wax packs, coming home with 2 packs, 3 packs, 5 packs, 1 pack, not realizing that there was series back then. That was the last year that cards would be released by series. I kept going, why am I getting all these doubles? And then all of a sudden one day I'd go to the store and they'd have a bunch of new cards. And it just brings back a lot of memories. Just even looking at these 2022 cards. I think when you're like I said, very first set is 1973, the very first cards I bought. I have a lot of sets. I will not deny that. 1973 is still my favorite. And love that Josh Hader card. You get a lot of naysayers, but I think it's the first set you ever worked on that you fall in love with. And it's funny because I see the 2023 Topps Heritage, which does the 1974 design. And I go, man, those are good looking. And I'm like, don't make me build those. But we are now in Series 2, which is card numbers 501 to 725. There's Yu Darvish. Jake Arrieta. Where is he? At that point, he's on the Padres. Let's see. Sometimes when I'm talking through these, I'm realizing I'm going through cards that I missed the first time. There's obviously updates and shots here. there was a card earlier of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, IKF. Now on the Yankees, he was on a different team earlier. And then Josh Bell, he was on Washington in the Series 1. Now he's on San Diego. I think he was part of the Juan Soto deal at that point. Matt Olson is now on the Braves at this point. Let's see. It's a good Byron Scott card. Who else? Like I said, this set will now make one set from each decade dating back to the 40s. And as you know, I'm building a 1930 set with the Diamond Stars. I'm only 20 cards into that, so that's going to take a long time to finish. But still, at the end of the day, when I do that, at this point, there's Max Scherzer on the Mets. With this set, I now have 9 sets from 9 different decades. And I am working on a set from the 10th decade as we speak. Adam Frazier. Matt Chapman, I forgot he was on the Blue Jays. There's Soto now on the Padres. Trey Turner now on the Dodgers at that point. Noah Syndergaard on the Phillies. Wow. Craig Kimbrell, making his yearly change of team by this point of his career. I did not realize Matt Strahm was on Boston. I know him on the Phillies. Carlos Correa on the Twins. So it's fun to see these new guys, today's players, in here. As we're getting near, there's Javi Baez on the Tigers. So we're getting near the end here. What else do I see? New Angel manager Kurt Suzuki right there. Josh Donaldson on the Yankees. Who could forget that? My very first Tarek Skubal card right there. 2022 Topps Heritage Tarek Skubal. One of my favorite, arguably one of my favorite modern today's players. I think he's probably the best pitcher in baseball. If not him, it's Paul Skeens. It's one of those guys. Maybe someday I'll see him on the Dodgers. Who knows? Let's see. Who else? Nelson Cruz on Washington. And then my last 5 cards, we got Kyle Schwarber, Kenta Maeda, former Dodger. Clayton Kershaw ends the set at card number 725. So the series is done, so to speak. But as I turn the page here, you might go, what's this? So what these Topps Heritage sets do, and I believe regular Topps base set does this too, they print different cards of different players. So I am now working, there are 54 photo variation cards. I am buying them one at a time. So I bought Rafael Devers' first, and once that arrives, then I can buy the next card, which is Altuve. Altuve arrived today. So now that I've got Altuve, the next card is Joey Votto. I have to find that one because that's more of a single print, a little bit more expensive. These this one cost me $8. This one cost me $2. But let's say the Joey Votto, so far I've only found one at $20. The Mike Trout I have seen between $60 and $70, and I still haven't seen the Bobby Witt Jr., and people have told me that one's kind of expensive. So I'm going to fill these pages up with the photo variations. There are other variations that Topps Heritage makes, but I only stick with the photo variations. In some cases, there's variations where if Altuve has a nickname, they put his nickname on there, or they make a color swap of, it might be second base in a different color. I can't do that. It's just too many variations. But I will do the variation when it comes to images. And I am going to do, because I've seen a lot of these cards, when I finish, I'm going to show them off to you because there are some very beautiful cards. The Mike Trout, the Cody Bellinger, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. card is stunning. And I'm gonna have to find a way to share those with you and show them from a close-up view just because they're really pretty cards to look at. All right, you guys, my time is winding up. I've actually got to head into a meeting. I'm still working, but I've got to take a quick break. If you stuck around this long to watch, thanks so much. This is the 2022 Topps Heritage set with the 1973 design. All right, you guys, you take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Take care.
It's a beautiful day for